In my 11 years of running agencies and helping over 20,000 entrepreneurs build their own, I've never seen anything transform a basic service into a premium offering like what I'm about to show you in this video. This AI upgrade to a service called Reputation Management doesn't just save time, it literally allows you to charge double while delivering better results. And to bring a real world example into this, just last week, I was showing an electrician my Reputation Management demo. It's the same system I've sold to hundreds of businesses over the last 11 years. And his reaction was completely flat. And honestly, so was mine. It felt like a boring cookie cutter system with no flair. So I stopped mid demo and said, you know what? Can we get on another call tomorrow? I want to show you something a little bit different. And I hung up and spent about an hour or two adding gasoline to what used to be just a tiny little flame. So I'm going to show you right now exactly what I did, and it eventually showed him the very next day and why he immediately said yes to a price that I doubled what I used to sell this exact same service for the last 11 years. And mark my words, if you watch this all the way into the end, and no, I'm not trying to bait you or hook you to do it, you're going to see me real time while I'm training on this come up with another idea to make this even more powerful while I'm building the thing in real time. And I do want to timestamp this, as I always leave the dates and the times on all of my videos and never hide them. I will guarantee you will see the rush of every single guru on the planet start rushing and doing YouTube videos with the AI apps that I'm using. And the reason why is because, in my opinion, these things blow me away. So I am going to assume not only are they going to blow other gurus away and then give them more ideas to make YouTube videos about, but this stuff actually is working, and it's allowing me to charge more money to my clients, and it's allowing my students to go from kind of like old agency to brand new agency and then reap those rewards. Timestamp it, but in the end, let's get to work. Let's jump on my screen. What I'm showing you on the screen is the walkthrough that I normally take my potential clients through when it comes to reputation management. Okay, I'm going to show you the old way, and then I'm going to show you what I've created that is so much better, not only in getting potential customer clients to actually click through and have them fill out the form, which would be considered a plus, but when you walk through the new process with a business, it just looks so much better. So let's just go through it. What the old way was, we would send through GoHighLevel automations for customers, upload the list, and emails and text messages would go out for that client saying, hey, leave us a review. So this is kind of what it looked like. All right. I've done videos on my channel with this exact walkthrough 2-3 years ago. Matter of fact, this is what everybody wanted. The caveat being that it was a little bit confusing setting it up in GoHighLevel. Figured it out, tried to make it as easy as possible, and people used it and got a lot of results. So what happens here? So text message goes out. Let's use electrician. They did a job for somebody, and a text goes out and says, how well did we do? They chose 5 stars. It would take them to a thanks. Please leave us a review us on Google. So it was 4 or 5 stars. Or if they choose 1, 2, 3 stars and they weren't happy, they got a form that they could fill out and give their feedback of why they were not happy. And what this would do is, here you could see they got 4 or 5 stars. Then we gave them a link to Google. And over here, we didn't really provide them a link, although some people did add a link here to stay in compliance. It's a gray area. You can think about this as like an internal review for a business. So it could be looked at both ways. Okay. I understand both sides of the coin. I never had a link here. This is just what I did. And so that was it. Last week when I was going through this, as I'm going through it, I'm like, man, all the things that I've seen, his site and everything that I built with his site and how beautiful it looked, I was like, this is kind of blah. Right? And he, like I said, was also. Now, I want to point out that I'm going to talk about this later on in the video, all right? Because this is very important. The GoHighLevel setup would be 4 automations. So we would have one way that you would go to past customers, and then one way that you would go to new customers. And essentially, for past customers, it would be 1 automation, then 2, 3 automations. Okay. I had all these forum tags and all this stuff. So although this might still look the same when I'm done walking through this, the actual triggers of these will be much easier. All right. So let me show you kind of the new way and walk you through how I did it. So this is now what we went from here to a more modernized custom form. But the difference is this was very simple to build, meaning all I did was tell this app, Lovable, which you guys all know. If you haven't watched any of those videos, you can watch them. I just told them like what I wanted to duplicate, which was this. I wanted to duplicate this and make it better. and more modern. So now when people click the link, they see this and they don't see this. Now, if they choose 1, 2, 3 stars, we bring them to a form that looks like this. Now, I will edit this, okay? He actually asked me to edit it to match this kind of color. So this part of the flow for a customer who chooses 1, 2, or 3 stars gets sent here, which is this. If they choose 4 stars, they come to here and then they get this action here, review A Electric on Google. Okay, we're thrilled. We could change this how we want. Doesn't really matter, but we ask them, hey, the public review helps other customers discover us. That to this. We could say maybe later, whatever it might be. All right, let me walk you through kind of this setup in GoHighLevel so you can actually see how we're tying this into GoHighLevel and how that flow works. And then I'm going to show you how you could actually implement this 5-10 minutes. Okay, the longest part about this is going to be using Zapier. That is probably what's going to take you the longest. Okay, if you've used Zapier before, it won't take you that long. There's not much that we have to do when it comes to connecting things to GoHighLevel. All right, so just to clarify, we went from this kind of walkthrough to a live version, and you're gonna notice here I have this on a subdomain, and there's a reason why that, and I have kind of like a branded URL, how about a review.com, and you can kind of think in your head like, maybe I can understand why he's doing this. We can put different clients on basically the same URL but just use subdomains. That's just kind of a little hint. All right, and then I will talk about this stuff in just a little bit. All right, so let's jump into GoHighLevel and let's have fun with this. Now, what I love the most about this, one of the biggest problems that I have or have had sharing this with, let's say, people in my school group or private community or coaching students, we called it a reputation management snapshot where people could import what I showed you over here, okay, and have it working. They had to do some setups and stuff like that. It was constantly breaking. The CSS, when GoHighLevel would update whatever, that custom CSS in the form would always, like, it was constant to the point where I literally closed my free group down because I could not keep up. I used to have a free school group, but I couldn't keep up with the amount of requests people would have for the updated CSS code that would then work with whatever GoHighLevel was doing in the back end. I couldn't keep up with it. In this case, because we're running a separate form, it has nothing to do with GoHighLevel. Now we will connect them, but now I don't have to worry about CSS changes. I don't have to worry about anything. And if you like the way this looks, to be honest with you, I think the best way to do this is to take the prompt that I have. So that will also be in my school community. I'll talk about that at the end of this video. With that being said, this is what's good about this and all the other things that come along with it. So here's our folder that has our automations in GoHighLevel. We have our past customers. So let's just jump into this really quick. We don't have to spend a lot of time here because I'm not going to walk you through step by step how to do this. Again, meaning like what emails should I send? What SMSs should I send? How do I trigger this? All you got to know is that the trigger here is reactivation review, or you can call it whatever you want. We'll add that tag. We'll save it. Essentially, this electrician is going to give me a list of his clients. I'm going to upload it and then send it down this automation by tagging them. That's all you need to really know for now. Okay, so in this first automation, really all we have is reactivation review is what's going to cause people to go down this, and then we're going to send a text message, email, wait a day, send another text message, email, wait a few days, text, email, and then that's it. If they don't respond, they don't respond. All right, now that we looked at this past customers tag added, that starts that automation. Now let's look at how do we, if somebody does click the link in here to add a review, whether it's a good one or a bad one, we don't want to keep sending them messages, right? So we would have to have and run a review link clicked campaign or automation that will remove them from any of the campaigns that they're in. So you can see here C2, C1, reactivation, trigger link clicked, and reactivation review trigger link clicked. Instead of having two of them, we're essentially, all we need is to create one trigger link. So I'm gonna go over here to links, and I'm going to hit add link, and I'm going to add AE Electric review link. And then I'm going to go over to my Lovable over here. Actually, I just grab it here, grab that URL and paste it in here. Now, this will be the link that we create for our automations. So if I go back to automations and I go over here, if somebody clicks this trigger link, which is, this is an old one, so I have to replace it, then it'll remove them from everything. So that was an old one. We're just going to hit trigger links, and that's the review link. We would have to replace it with all the ones. You could create a custom value and put the link there, but that's neither here nor there. All right, then we'll go into the email. This is the link that we're sending. So we're going to go over to, we'll just check that link here and hit save. And then we'll change it for all of those. So that would be for the campaign one. And then negative feedback received. We already remember at the beginning, we changed this to, we're just going to have a negative feedback. And then once we have a negative feedback, if, because if they click the link, they leave a negative feedback, we'll remove them for all the campaigns. We'll add negative feedback, and then we'll send our client an internal review and then email thanking the person to leave a feedback that our management team is reviewing your feedback so we can ensure that neither you nor any of us have the same experience again. Okay, so we're just hitting them with that. That is it for the automations. Okay, it's not really difficult. You could rewind, pause, go back. I am going to give this snapshot away for anybody in my Skool community, or just use this YouTube video. Now, the last thing that we were going to do, right, if we don't want to edit this and then we love the way it looks, is we are going to now create a webhook, and we're going to use Zapier to do it. All right, so this is actually a perfect example of why you should always watch my videos in totality, because I just thought of another great option to put into this form that is going to make this irresistible. You ready for this? Well, first, hold on, you'll see. Let's go into Zapier. In I believe the last video I posted, I talked about how to add lead connector, your GoHighLevel, into Zapier, choosing the sub account. I don't want to waste too much time on this to go through that, but let's just create a Zap really quick because I know everybody's going to have those kind of questions. So the first trigger is going to be a webhook. And coming from somebody who's really not that technical, once you do this once or twice, you start to realize like, all right, this is a little easy. We're going to catch the data. Lovable, form submission, the webhook catches the data, sends it into GoHighLevel. Okay, so catch, continue, and then continue. And here's the webhook. We're gonna hit copy. I'm gonna go over to Lovable, and we're gonna say, please use this webhook in the feedback form. That will build there. Okay, so it updated the feedback form with Zapier webhook. Now we're gonna go over to test trigger, and you're gonna get no request found because I didn't fill it out yet. Okay, let me just publish this first because I constantly forget to publish this, and then I end up not making it live and miss out on all the stuff. Really, the only thing we're catching is anybody that gives us a crappy star rating. Anybody else that goes over here, it doesn't really matter. Like, we don't have to capture anything. So if we go to 2 stars, you see here, I have them now say, did you mean to rate us poorly? You rated us 2 stars. If this was on accident, you can change your rating below. So if I said, oh, sorry, it should have been that, then we get them out of there. But if I am like, no, I meant to give you that. Well, here's where we're going to send the data. Now, one thing that I forgot to do is tell Lovable to please make the name and email mandatory. Now, we could leave name optional and just leave the email as mandatory. Maybe somebody doesn't want to tell them. If they were willing to leave a bad review on Google, it's going to show their name anyway. So I'm going to assume that we should do this. And the reason why I want to do this is because I want to capture their data into the CRM. It's going to make it important. So now it made it mandatory. So we make them confirm that they wanted a bad, give us a bad rating. Some people on accident clicked the wrong one. And now we're going to put our name, email. I was not happy with the workers smoking in the house. So then we're going to hit submit feedback. And the only reason why we're doing that is to send data over here. So now I'm going to go test trigger again, and it found my request. And you see how it says form type, negative feedback? We're going to use this as a tag because that is what's going to trigger our automations in GoHighLevel. It gave us a 2-star rating. Here's my feedback. Name is James. Email is that. Timestamp, trigger form, query string. All I care about is these right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all I want to do and all I care about is these. Now, I am going to be creating checklists for this because I've done this multiple times, and before I get into Zapier, I constantly forget that there's a few things that I need to do. For example, one thing that I already did and didn't talk about because I did it a little earlier, like way back when, was I changed the form type. So let's see if we could find right here. I need to make a few changes. We want to hard code the Zapier webhook so you just can't see it since that won't change. We also need to make sure you change the form type to negative feedback. So that's where I changed those things. I hard coded with Zapier webhook. All right, so it did all that. And the rating and feedback in GoHighLevel, we need to create custom fields for this. So we have to go over to settings, custom fields. Let's see if there's there's anything else that I can use that's already like a canned form in here that I can use to map the data to. So there's really nothing I could use. So I'm going to hit add field. We want to use multi-line, and we're going to call this star rating. I promise you guys, I'm telling you, when you start to do this, you get good at it. And you can create such cool stuff. Actually, let's put it in the general info, and then we're gonna hit save. So star rating is now added. And then we're gonna put multi-line feedback. We're gonna call it review feedback. And we'll put that also in general and hit save. So now that we have those, I'm gonna have to submit another test in here. So let me do that. Okay, so I'm gonna hit submit. It says, thank you for valuable feedback. And then we could send them to another page, have Lovable build another page. Now we want to go back to the test, and I'm going to say find new records, and now I'm going to go request B. And so form type, rating, feedback. The reason why we have to do this is because when we go to map the fields, and here we go. Now we're going to go to lead connector, because now we're capturing the data from Lovable into the webhook, and then it's going to hook it back into CRM, into GoHighLevel. So go over to add update contact. We're going to go to AE electric sub account. Remember I added that, or I told you to add it. You could add as many sub accounts as you want. Hit continue. And now, what is it? It's just name and email. So we're just going to go first name, email, mapping it. So this is just basically telling Zapier the data that I'm giving you, where do you want me to put it, right? So I can map rating to first name. So back to this, we're going to go to first name, all right, tags. We're going to do form type, which we called negative feedback. So now we can tag it. That's how we're mapping that. We always have to hit a mark as lead, star rating, and review feedback. All right, so we mapped all the ones that we met. I don't care about timestamp. I don't care about triggered from. Continue, test step, and then I'm going to hit publish. It says that it sent data to GoHighLevel, but a lot of times until you test it again, it doesn't. All right, so that is now published. I'm excited. So somebody comes in and they're like, yeah, man, I'm not happy with you, bro. Did you mean to rate us? Yes, I meant to rate you bad. Here's going to be where I submit this and see if it goes into GoHighLevel. It says, thank you for your valuable feedback. Also, for those of you who are scared of Google and you don't want to feel like you are review gating, don't worry, I got you covered down here, right here. Prefer to share publicly. If you like to share your experience, it's small, but it's there, all right? Small, but there. Let's go back to GoHighLevel. Let's go to contacts. And, oh, so it actually did send the form. That's cool. And so look, negative feedback, okay? Now, if I have my automation set up completely, they're not published, you would have seen that I would have gone down this one, negative feedback. So let's publish this and let's do another test. I love this. I just thought about this as I was doing the training. This is why I also love doing training. Submit feedback. All right, let me just make sure I published. So I should see a number 1 here. So we'll wait and see. So negative feedback received. So that'll go down. I don't really have like emails or whatever set up for this. Oh, let's see if it added a tag. I don't know if you guys know this, but the entire universe of the web is webhooks. Don't know if you knew that. I never knew that. Contacts. And we have not another test, negative feedback. I'm already capturing. So in actuality, if I go to automations, and the cool thing about this is as I do this, you're going to get the cleanest version of this if you choose to get into my school community. I don't need to add this. I can actually remove this step because I'm already tagging them negative feedback. So what the heck do I need to do it again? Hit save. We're starting it with negative feedback. That is coming from our form type. They're filling out the form. Boom, boom, boom. And now we just tell the client that they got a bad review, email them, email the actual person who gave a bad review, basically saying, I'm sorry, remove them from the workflow, and everything runs smooth sailing. Okay, now let's go into the contact. Let's just take a look. And if I go to hide empty fields and I go to general information, star rating 1, and here's my feedback. Smoking smells. Stop smoking, damn it. And that's how you set this beautiful thing up. Now you might be wondering why this approach is actually working so much better than what I used to do. Honestly, it really comes down to understanding the fundamentals of business. So I want you to stay with me because this is important. Business owners will only value you as a service provider in 2 ways. You either help them get more customers or you help them sell more to their current customers. That's it. Every business on the planet operates on those 2 paths. Now, what I just showed you hits the second path perfectly, selling more to current customers. And I want you to think about it. When someone leaves a great review, their existing customers see it. They most likely will rank higher in their Google business profiles on Google, and all potential new customers are reading these reviews. Their past customers find them again when they need another service and get to see those reviews. So when their reputation improves, their current customers refer more people. But here's a real reason I can charge basically double now. It's not just about the results anymore. Business owners today, and maybe this won't be forever, but they want AI-powered solutions. They don't want to feel like they're buying yesterday's technology. When I show them this system, they're not just buying reputation management, they're buying into cutting-edge AI that makes their business look more advanced than their competitors, and they know that. So the electrician that I told you about, he didn't just say yes to the service. He basically asked me, like, what other AI solutions could I build for him? And so that's really the power of positioning yourself in that sweet spot I mentioned earlier. Now let me show you the best part about this system. The beauty of what I just showed you is that you build it once and deploy it everywhere. So let me show you how to make this 90% evergreen so you can use it for client after client with just minor adjustments. Let's get back on my screen. So the question that you have to ask yourself is, what is the easiest way to do this? Well, the easiest way to do this is join my Skool community, and I'll put the prompt that I created in that community. But what if I could provide you with this as is, and then all you have to do is edit it as you wish? Well, that is what I'm working on and will provide to anybody in my Skool community. I will find a way to do it. There is a way to do it, but I haven't done it yet. I'm going to do it after I'm done with this video. So again, another reason to join my Skool community in addition to all the other future stuff that I plan on doing. Now, what I love about this is I can build this for AE Electric. Because I chose to run it on a subdomain, I can then take this and go to my settings and click remix. I'm not going to include the project history. I'm just going to hit remix. Now I have a brand new, ready to go, already set up with everything in there, except we'll have to change a few things like the webhook that's already hard coded in here. And I could actually probably create a way that it'll automatically ask me like, hey, these are the things you have to change. I'll work on that. But if this was you and you got this, well, what if I have another client and I say to it, can you brand this project, this company? And it will build it and brand it. I'm assuming it's going to know to change the logo and everything. So I believe that this is going to do that. And then I'll show you what we're going to do next. I just wanted to show you as it's building. Logo failed and it said, I haven't even touched it yet. And it said, this is the, I'll rebrand the project to Squalco, update the design, blah, blah, blah. Let me also update the ring colors, yada, yada. Let me try creating a proper logo with correct dimensions. Now let me fix the import path. Now I'll update the feedback form and Google review pages to use the branding. So again, if you guys are not using this, and by the way, I'll put an affiliate code for Lovable down below. If you like this kind of stuff, it'd be cool if you help me out and use it. Why not? I think I make like $5, but might as well put it. And maybe if Lovable ever watches this, they could be like, hey, keep doing what you're doing and maybe we'll pay you something for it. But they don't pay me anything. All right. So it's struggling with the logo, I believe. So it just made up one because I already have that logo and I'll just grab it from yesterday. I believe I have it, downloaded it somewhere. And I'll say, here is the logo you can now use. Replace the one you made up. Okay, so that will actually put the logo. All right, and I can change little things like I want to capitalize that, I want to capitalize that. Here's the stars. It's not just that boring yellow garbage. So everything works exactly as it did. So once you have this, it's done. The only thing you really need to do is go to Zapier, get a new webhook, get it in the sub account, and you're off and running. Now, I'm not even done with this, meaning like, okay, this is all done. You know, I have my electric one, but assuming that you took the steps, you got this in there, you made the edits you wanted to do, and you got a kind of a review branded domain. Well, we can now hit custom domains, add an existing domain, hit continue. I want to use a subdomain and we're going to call it Squalco. And then we're going to use the same domain here. I paused this and ran into an issue. And so one thing I want you to be wary about, let me just update this, is that if you get an error trying to connect the same root domain with different projects but using a subdomain, just make sure you go back to your original project. I had both domains connected actually. So I also had here connected the subdomain and the root domain. And once I deleted the root domain by going to settings, domains, I just deleted it. And so I deleted that, and then it allowed me to add the same root domain with a subdomain to another project. That's what I meant by saying, like, you don't have to buy different domains for different clients to get reviews. You just need a URL that they have to click, and why go and buy more? Just continue to add subdomains with the same root domain to all of the projects that have to do with reviews, let's say. Then that just makes life a lot easier. And that has completed this kind of long video. And I was going to talk and go through AI reviews with GoHighLevel, and I was going to connect the Google Business Profile to it and configure the reviews, have AI automatically respond to those reviews. But this video has gone on way too long, and I'm just going to make another video about this. In addition, the Skool group has going to have all of GoHighLevel's AI trainings in there, step by step, how to do it, walk you through it, and everything. Now, during this walkthrough, everything that I just showed you, whether it be the GoHighLevel snapshot, the lovable form that I created with the stars, the exact prompt that I used to build it, it's all waiting for you in my Skool community. It's literally less than $1 a day. Or if you want it completely for free, you can simply grab the link to join GoHighLevel for 30 days for free. And all you have to do is follow the directions on that Skool About page. The links are in the description as well as pinned. With AI being mainstream now, business owners actually want this stuff. It took me a long time to wake up to it, but I've worked my tail off to give you what's working right now in my own business. The same strategies my private coaching students are learning. So if you love this kind of content, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, because I've got more AI agency, what I like to call upgrades, coming that are going to change how you think not only about pricing, but how to land clients and how to actually talk to these clients. We'll see you on the next one.